So in today's video, I'm going to be meeting the man behind the $500 million e-commerce brand at just 29 years old. Now, if you don't know who I'm talking about Davie Fogarty, who created the Oodie. He's also been featured on Shark Tank in Australia, so he's definitely a special guest on this YouTube channel. So this interview is a must watch if you want to find your first $1 million online with e-commerce or drop shipping.
So guys, we've got Davie here on the interview. This one has been in such demand. A lot of you guys have been asking on the channel to get Davie on after he's built a 9-figure brand, which is insane. So I just want to say a massive thank you, Davie, for coming on the channel. And if you're watching this live or you're watching this, please leave a comment saying thank you to Davie for spending his time coming on this interview today, because it is going to be a crazy value bomb of questions and answers. Now let's talk about some e-com advice for the guys that are watching this that are either beginners, finding a bit of success, or even found mass success. So at this current stage, you've done 9 figures online. How would you now identify a product in the e-commerce world that has potential to make money online? Like, what would be your criteria?
The e-com industry is in a bit of a strange place because I feel like there's actually 2 acquisition channels that are worthwhile. Initially, it was just Facebook. Now it's also virality.
Yep.
Like, look, utilizing these viral niche pages and secondary pages through TikTok are going to probably create pretty insane businesses. And I think that also with social shops becoming more prevalent through which is basically an affiliate content strategy, I think that is going to start once Instagram and Facebook roll out their version of TikTok shops. I think that is going to be a very viable strategy for beginners to start, because legacy brands, their product has no ability to go viral because it's boring as anything and they don't know how. But then, 2, it's just going to grow so quickly. So the first thing you need to decide, like anything, is how you're going to sell the product, because that's going to dictate where you find the product. If I'm going to sell on Facebook ads, you can use AdSpy, TrendRocket, whatever. But if you're going to use viral, you're probably just best scrolling on the platform or using something like Kalo data. K starts with K. I think that's probably where I would find the products at the moment. And my main check would be, if I'm drop shipping, sweet, make sure that the Temu, Shein, Amazon don't all have the product. If I'm not drop shipping, then I'd just make sure I have great gross margin. The product is replenishable, repeatable, worth the investment, and can't be drop shipped due to compliance or the size as well.
Really good answer, by the way. During your early days on your come up, what daily habits or routines did you develop, or did you even develop any? A lot of beginners believe in 2024 that you need to have, a routine, you need to have habits. Is this a myth? Is it true? And did you have any?
I think there's always a direct correlation between an activity and the results that you get in that activity. And that sounds obvious. So let's take YouTube, for example. The direct correlation between my YouTube success will be how many hours do I sit in front of the camera. It is that simple. Obviously, do a lot more pre-work and spend a lot more time on one piece of content before you start filming it. And there's nuance in it, of course, but people's routine should, especially in the early stages when you don't know your dick from your elbow, you should be looking at what activity am I doing in huge amounts of volume. When I first started calming blankets, I just flown back from Melbourne. I had lost all my money. I tried working as an actual job, being properly employed, which was great, by the way. I learned so much. But I had lost all my money from my successful ventures. All my routine was I'd get up at 7 a.m., maybe 6:30 a.m., and I would get Uber Eats. The first thing that would open would be at 6:30 a.m. Then I would go sit in my study and I would work for 4 hours straight on whatever I wanted, my new e-commerce brands. And then I would order Uber Eats again, and I would just have a 30-minute break again, and then I would work for another 4 hours. And then I would basically go down to my girlfriend's house where they would watch TV, and I don't like it. I'm not into like that TV. So I'd work for another 4 hours, and it was just this rinse and repeat process. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't look after your health. Like, I've had mental health issues, and the only period that I've had mental health issues is when I completely neglect healthy food and training as well, and just focus on work. So it is a balance, and you should try to get that balance in, but at the same time, orient around your main priorities. If your main priority is to get success in your business, that can sometimes be antagonistic to the goal of pure mental health and peace. So As long as you know what you're doing, then you can correct when you see the signs as well.
Yeah, I really like that. And I also want to add that, I've publicly said as well that I've suffered from mental health issues, especially on the come up, because, as an entrepreneur, it's a lonely journey. You're on your own with your own thoughts and, your own horror stories at the same time. So I'm really happy you mentioned that as well, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are super successful like yourself, especially nine figures, they don't really talk about the mental health struggles, which I think are super important to talk about. And I think men in today's age are really suffering from it, and it's really important to speak out about it. So I really appreciate you doing that.
So guys, before we carry on with the Davie interview, I hope you're enjoying it so far. I need to go over a major announcement. Now, some of you guys know that I'm doing the Ecom King Bootcamp, which is my $3,000 mentorship for completely free. Now, the reason why this is a major announcement is because we close the doors on the Ecom King Bootcamp tonight. So you literally have around about 10 hours from now for you to join the Ecom King Bootcamp. Now, it is strictly for 500 people. Now, we're allowing another 100 people to sign up just in case when we get started tomorrow, if people fall off, the 100 people will then replace them. So if you want the chance to have a completely free mentorship, then you need to sign up to the bootcamp and complete all the 7 steps. We are also doing a $25,000 giveaway at the end of the bootcamp challenge. Now, with that being said, guys, let's get straight back into the Davie interview.
How would you start an e-commerce store today or a dropshipping store today? What would you focus on? What skills would you say are important? Is it video editing? Is it learning how to shoot content? Is it creating a website? What are the skills that people need today that are crucial?
Most frustrating thing about e-commerce, once you become successful, you'll realize is that you need to be okay at all of these skills. If you have zero ability in one of these skills, it's not going to work. Even from customer service, operations, we are running like 7 different businesses at once. I think that initially, if we say that you need at least a level 2 skill across the board, or 3 skill across video editing, website development, and you can balance that out with a 10 in product selection. But realistically, that's not possible. So I kind of look at it as like, yeah, all right, we need to be at least a 6 across all of those to even get any results. So I would look at the whole picture, and this is where we can use feedback to critique that.
Now, I love the fact that you have said that you need to know every single one of them. And that's why I've always said that ecom and dropshipping is such a beautiful business model, because even if you don't make money, you're going to learn skills that can make you a lot of money, like video editing, copywriting, how to build a website. These are skills that companies pay a lot of money for. So I'm glad you've said that and addressed that. It's not, you don't need some of these. You do need some of these. You do need every single one of them at a good rate as well to be successful. So how did you manage your time between working on your business, working your job? And when did you feel like it was the right time to say, I'm going to quit my 9 to 5 and go all in with this business?
Yeah. So I was running Instagrams on the side. So I was selling advertising on Instagram, and I got a job offer from a watch brand in Melbourne that was also running Instagrams. That was very, very aligned with what I was doing. In fact, I sold one of my Instagrams to them. Basically, they said, I can do influencer marketing, I can keep doing the pages, all of that kind of stuff. And I had just come off a brutal loss of where I lost all my money in a Vietnamese roll cafe because I thought that was the next big trend. So I lost all my money there. And I pretty much told all my friends, I've sold the business, even though I couldn't get it profitable. I was just so ashamed, and moved to, so I was like, I'm just running away. Like, I'm done. I moved to Melbourne and took that job despite it being way less than they were already paying me on a contract basis. It made no sense, but I just wanted to get away and I just wanted to learn. Pretty much I would work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday there. And I would either fly back to Adelaide, which is, a 2-hour flight, or I would just sit at home all weekend and I would just work on a second project. Like, I was learning to develop websites. I was launching a seasoning business. Like, it would just be every time that I wasn't working 9 to 5, I was working on my other stuff. It's not sustainable because you're working 24/7 and life will pass you by quite quickly when you're doing that. Trust me. It's some of the kids listening to this, these are the best years of your life is a bad term, but these are some amazing years, ones that you'll never get back. And committing to work like that is a big ask. But realistically, I wouldn't trade it for the world because one, I got the learnings from that job, and then I also got the learnings, I could put them into practice straight away. And that was really the tipping point from when I was going from so many terrible failures that kind of got small wins, but never really got traction, to absolutely exploding with Calming Link and doing 10 million in its first year.
So let's talk about advertising, Facebook ads, TikTok ads. What is the best platform, or for yourself and in the future, what has it been? Has it been Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Pinterest ads, X ads? What is the best right now for you?
If everyone listening here just only focused on one platform for the next 10 years, being Facebook, they would probably be more successful in focusing on everything. It is unrivaled. It is easiest to access. It's the biggest to scale. It's still growing like crazy. They're still acquiring things. They've got social shops coming up. So it has always been Facebook for us, with Google being a more supplementary channel. But again, it depends on your product. Like if your product has a large amount of search volume for the existing category, let's say weighted blanket versus wearable blanket, like lots of people searching weighted blanket, then maybe Google is going to be more dominant for you, or like good furniture. So again, it comes down to the category, but the truth is Facebook is the most important skill to learn.
I'd agree with you. I'd say that Facebook is still number one in my opinion. It has been number one since I ever got started in this game back in 2016. I find it funny how everyone thought Facebook was dead when things were going wrong with the platform, and it's still come out on top. You know, it's become such a powerful tool. I'd also add to that and say that, you know, Facebook is the one that everyone should focus on, but I always feel like you still need like a backup just in the background to run, as Facebook is very volatile. I like Google ads because it's very stable. I struggle to scale Google myself. I really do. Especially when I start setting target ROAS and stuff, it does struggle to scale for me. But I like the consistency that Google gives me instead of Facebook one day insane, the other day, you know, a little bit slow. So have you had a similar experience with Facebook where it's quite volatile?
As soon as you get to larger numbers, the volatility goes. Like there is some element of volatility, but it's not like instantly, hey, my ROAS just dropped like 3 points. And I'm no longer profitable. We have enough ability to pull back spend and increase spend, but we don't have these huge percentage swings with the Oodie. I mentor $250 million founders. Like at least once a week, someone's like, oh, has anyone seen volatility in the platform at the moment? And 2 months ago, the platform was terrible for the United States. Yes, definitely experienced more volatility in that region than Australia and these other regions, in my opinion. Oh, sorry, you're in the UK. Shouldn't have said that. But yeah, I think like the backup platform, I see them as more as supplementary platforms primarily. I like supplementary being, you know, you can hire an agency and they're not going to be the demand drivers. They're just the demand captures. So, and I think that TikTok, the amount of spend that's behind that you can actually scale that platform to, it's kind of like neither here nor there. I think the iOS 14.5, those that, you know, we're kind of coming into a new generation of e-commerce, they might not even know what that was. But every 3 to 5 years, there's going to be a huge fundamental privacy shift or something that just kind of destroys what everyone is doing. And it's going to happen. We're probably up for another one pretty soon, whether it's removing cookies or whatever. But I think the thing that was most interesting about that is people say that we should use diversify from Facebook. That change annihilated the other platforms even more than Facebook. We need to realize that not only us, but the entire world, like even elections are on Facebook. Like the disruption, the level of disruption that will happen if that suddenly goes away is insane.
For those new to e-commerce or dropshipping, what are the essential tools and platforms you would recommend if you were to get started?
The truth is you don't need anything to start. You can just scroll on the platform, you can watch our free videos, and you can launch a Shopify trial. Really framing that you just technically need nothing is a great way for people to get started. I think you're going to need $30, $40 for the domain across the board, maybe a bit more. So that's the main thing. Then you can use something like Trend Rocket, which is my tool if you're planning on building an e-commerce brand and you want some more emerging things, not just dropshipping tools. If not, go to something like Mania if you want to dropship, AdSpy or Zendrop, who I know we both work with because we love their platform so much. And from there, I think that that's realistically all you need. You can obviously join a bunch of free Discords as well and just start chatting to people. Go to a bunch of events and you'll make connections that you can just have calls with these people, and they'll walk you through things.
When launching an e-commerce or dropshipping store, what are the crucial first steps an entrepreneur should take to focus on to ensure a good start? Not a guaranteed win start, but a good start.
Yeah, as you pointed out, there's no guarantee win. I always get asked the question, what is more important, product or marketing? The interesting thing is, a lot of people say marketing initially, because without that, you're not going to be able to sell even one product. But when I look at my journey with launching Coming Link to getting to 10 million in the first year, I had no idea what I was doing. I was basically boosting posts on Facebook and they would sell it. And they were just like an iPhone photo. And I went crazy. So I think that product timing is the most important thing. And that should be the thing that you're focusing on. Is this product saturated? And by the way, when you get very good at marketing and top tier, saturation is a good thing. Like, you're going to beat everyone, you're going to take the whole pie. But when you're first starting out, you don't want to verse someone like me and my team on selling a product. You want to versing like some random person that has no idea, has no ambition to even make their product big and sell their product online, and they've created a big new trend. Like, that's the kind of stuff that are the people you want to be partnering with, or selling similar products to that. Because it's just you're gonna ride the wave, and that ad ecosystem is gonna be so clean for you to target. So product timing, learning how to read that, and also just velocity of learning. So I'm not sure if you've got a Discord. I haven't seen it, but we've got a couple of channels in mind. There's like Roast My Ad and Roast My Store, which I was trying to set up these people to send their websites into this Discord and just get annihilated, because that just creates this rapid feedback loop for them. Because some of these sites, you need to be able to really look at yourself in the mirror and look at your website and say, does this actually look like something I would purchase for? Because the amount of people that have terrible padding, no reviews, awful imagery, like no copy, bad spelling, like that is just absolute a deal breaker. So the quicker we can get those feedback loops and accelerate our learning, the more likely we will get that one store, we'll get that product timing that just goes crazy, and your life will be changed.
Now, you've added a really good point there, which is like saturation. A lot of people think saturation is something to be scared of, and I always say that you should only be scared of it if your skills don't exceed the saturation. So as long as you've got it, because we were selling those back crackers, we had the cryoboard, our brand was called Ultra Body, and it was saturated when we sold it, but we just found TikTok virality was a popular thing, so we were able to sell it on there as an example and do a lot of money. So I really like the fact that you spoke about skills. Saturation is nothing to be feared of as long as you have the skills to back what you need to be able to overcome it.
So guys, before we finish off with the Davie interview, and I hope you've enjoyed it so far, I need to give a massive shout out to today's sponsor, which is Bond Loyalty Rewards and Referrals. Now, this app is a must-have app. Now, this app is for Shopify, and it is built for Shopify, as you guys can see here on the Shopify App Store. Now, if you don't know what this is designed to keep retention and LTV with the customers on your store. So it's basically a loyalty program that has VIP tiers, anti-cheat referral programs, flexible points, and customers earn rewards as they buy more products. So you can see here, this is what it looks like when you use it on your store. And the reason why this app is a game changer is because they have a free forever plan, so you can try it out, and if you like it and see benefits from it and actual results, then you can increase it to the basic plan if you're seeing the rewards and the results from the app. Now, we've been using this app on pretty much all of our stores for the last year and a half. Now, if I show you an example store of how this works, you can see here on the bottom right, it says limited time point offer, earn 2x loyalty points by joining our rewards program today. So let's say you click join now. It's going to take you to this page where you can join. That way you receive their email and their contact details, which will help you build your email marketing list. And then if we go on the bottom right where it says voucher, you can see here rewards program, join, sign in, earn points. And then you can see how they can earn points. And then if they go back to, let's say, redeem points, it shows them how to do it. And then referral program, it shows them how they can refer a friend. And then my balance shows them how much they've got on, let's say, cashback or cash to spend on the store. So that just gives you guys a little quick overview of how this integrates with your store and how it will look. And again, the purpose of this is to increase conversions, increase LTV, and order quantities. So this will help you keep your business alive for the long term. So make sure you check out Bond Loyalty and Rewards, as I've got an exclusive link that will get you a percentage off any play plans that you look to upgrade to.
So what was the inspiration behind creating the Oodie, and how did you identify the need for such a product in the market at the time you invented the brand?
At the time, I was selling weighted blankets for kids with autism, sensory issues, even people with anxiety, because I learned a proprioceptive input could really support those things. It was probably like 1 or 2 months in of selling the product, I was like, that fear comes in. And it's just like, what if this all goes away? It's like, I'm 2 months in and I'm already scared that it's going to go away. And that's when I came across, wearable blankets. I was like, blanket brand, I can be the one and all blanket brand. So launched that. The interesting thing is, I also launched Pup Naps, which was like 7 months later, which did $1 million in its, it did $1 million in its 7th month. So I picked these 3 products and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I can pick products so easily, which, spoiler alert, I was very wrong. I ended up launching a bunch after that all failed. And also coming like it's a Pup Naps because of my mismanagement and having to focus on Oodie also failed. So there was a big learning experience coming up. But my inspiration was to just get rich. There was no vision, Steve Jobs vision behind it. I just wanted to make money and get an element of self-actualization that I was worth something, because I had just spent 10 years since school, not 10 years, but less, just grinding and just getting no results for it. So realistically, I would have sold anything at that point, I think.
Wow, that's amazing. I've learned something. I'm learning so much just from interviewing today. It's honestly amazing. So again, appreciate it. How did your venture on Shark Tank inspire your journey for the future?
It was an interesting journey because I also mentor people. For those that don't know, I've got Daily Mentor. It kind of reinforced what I was doing in Daily Mentor more than anything. I do have a lot of investments into e-commerce. More so, my time is so invested in coaching these $1 million brands and seeing a lot of these founders come on and just really not know the path, the pain that they're about to go. They are, so starry-eyed and so excited. And it's great. They're the people that you want to invest in. And they're the people that will probably make it as well. But there's just so much pain. So I think that really changed my perspective of the importance of Daily Mentor and having something set up for entrepreneurs similar to that, Shark Tank or not.
Well, congratulations, because like I said, you're the youngest one to do it, and it's a massive achievement for the e-commerce guys, because you're carrying the flag basically in the e-com world. So, congratulations on that. And I want to move into a question now, which I hope it doesn't upset you me asking you this, but what will mark the end of your involvement with the Oodie?
It's a good question. A lot of businesses don't last longer than 10 years, to be completely honest. Naturally, I think Oodie could, because, we're in these evergreen categories now. I was talking to Robert Herjavec we were backstage in Shark Tank, and he said, you should only sell a business, 1, when you're completely over it, and 2, when the money is going to completely change your life. And I'm kind of past the point where it's going to change my life. I think that we've just through cash flow alone, EBITDA, I don't need more money. I came to the realization after I bought my first house, I was like, I'm going to buy a beach house as well. And instantly I became stressed again and started working on things that I hate. I managed to find some peace in myself by stop chasing money. And because of that, I feel like the Oodie has produced enough cash for me. And there's an element of safety putting, if you can put 20 million into ETFs, let's say that they just produce 5% a year, that's $1 million a year. Already got the bankroll to prove it. So that there makes me not really care about selling the Oodie. That being said, if it did make sense from a purely transactional point of view in terms of future cash flow, and also the people will be looked after and the brand will become what I know it can become, competing against Peter Alexander, competing against some of these legacy chains in the UK and the US, then I would consider it.
Interesting. And like I said, that was a really nice answer. So I want to say a massive thank you for coming on here and sharing a lot of value and gems. And I also want to say to the guys that are watching this, let me know if you want to see a part 2 of Davie on the channel. What questions would you like to ask Davie if there were to be a part 2? Make sure you go and subscribe to Davie's YouTube channel, that should be linked in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you again for coming on the channel today. It was most welcome.